surprise for you. People don't answer to be formators. And not surprisingly, when people are asked to be formators, there can be doubt, resistance. Accepting the Ministry of Formation costs something. You've got to let go of whatever other, probably more satisfying, more congenial ministry you're involved in. At the same time, we're all aware that in our congregations, we all want lots of vocations, don't we? And we all complain about what they should have learned in the novitiate, or why didn't they tell the apostles. So, on the one hand, we want better formation, but no, I don't want to be a formator myself. You're people who perhaps have answered or are answering the call to formation, and it's a very important thing. So, the 2 loaves of bread. The first one is a question, well, they're both questions. The first one is, why am I doing this? And the second question is, why are we doing that? And you can remember these very easily, can't you? Why am I doing this? Why are we doing that? Because I'm going to give you a quiz at the end. See if you can remember the 4 anyway. Because why am I doing this? If it is costing you something, you're leaving some other ministry, perhaps you're getting involved in a formation thing that you never imagined for yourself. Now, people can have all sorts of reasons for doing this. For example, you want to please the provincial. At least you don't want to displease her. Now, well, that might be a reason. But what I want to suggest is, on its own, it's not a good enough reason. In Italy, if you don't reach the pass mark, they say you are insufficiente. So that doing is something just because of what somebody else might say or not say. Insufficiente. Perhaps you're doing it because you're loyal to the congregation and you're answering the congregation's call, and that's a good reason. But I would say on its own or without something else, that also is insufficient. So why are you doing this? Why are you accepting this? And this brings me back to, I think, the sorts of things that Father Joes was talking about. Ultimately, we've got to try to do this for love. The love of the one who called you and who called me into religious life, and who is calling you now in a particular way, perhaps a ministry in your congregation. The one who keeps on calling all of us through our life stories. So, can we say from the heart, Lord, you know everything, you know I love you, and I want to do my best in this. So, why am I doing this? Why are we doing that? Why are we doing that, whatever, in formation? Why are we teaching this subject, having these classes, having these activities, making the candidates do this, that, or something else? Why? Now again, there can be various reasons for that. Well, we've always done it. Insufficiente. We need to ask the questions. What are these things achieving in regard to your objectives? The formation program in your congregation, does it have objectives? Have you got written down somewhere the objectives of the formation program that you can go back to and say, well, we're doing this, we're teaching this subject because it achieves this part of the objectives? Because I think sometimes people get stuck in doing things because, well, that's what's there and that's what we've always done, and we just keep the program going. So in what way is this going to help achieve our vision of religious life with our congregation and its charism? There's a saying you might have heard that if we don't do what we believe, we will end up believing in what we do. Have you heard that before? If we don't do what we really believe in, we don't do our values and our real beliefs, then we'll end up believing in what we do. We'll make a god or an idol out of what there and what's always been done. Insufficient. Okay, so they're the two bits of bread. Why am I doing this? Why are we doing that? The first fish. Don't forget yourself. Now, you might think I'm going to urge you to be selfish, and that's not true, of course. And I think in your course, you have, in your presentations, you've already had put to you that, for example, self-care has got to be a part of what you do. And you've had things built into your experience, like the assessment at the university, the retreats, the mentoring and so on, that have helped you to engage personally with what's being presented. So I just want to encourage you, as I'm sure others already have, to make sure that when you go back and enter into whatever it is you're going to be doing, that you have the personal support in place. And if it's not already there, that you work to find it. Spiritual direction, supervision, or a soul friend, but in some way you're not there on your own. That there's someone that you can really share what's happening for you with. Because formation depends heavily, for its effectiveness, on the integrity and the authenticity of the candidates, the novices, whoever they are, will learn a lot more from seeing you and the other formators, or the other sisters, live. Those of us who are teachers might remember a time when we talked about the hidden curriculum.